Welcome to Mindset Apex. You keep asking the same question in your head. Is this real? Or am I imagining it? You want proof, another sign, another confirmation, something loud, something unmissable, something undeniable. But here's the issue, you already got the sign. You just didn't like the delivery. You were expecting fireworks from the sky, a billboard from God, a fated earthquake, a revelation wrapped in certainty. But God doesn't shout the truth to those who already feel it. He whispers it, quietly, and repeatedly, until you stop running. And you interpret the whisper as confusion. That's arrogance, not intuition. Let's fix the first assumption brutally. God isn't trying to convince you. He's testing if you can recognize the answer without losing yourself in analysis. Truth doesn't repeat for persuasion. It repeats because you keep resisting. If you truly didn't care, the thought wouldn't even visit you twice. But it keeps returning. Calmly. Consistently. And stubbornly. Not as a question, but as a verdict you refuse to stamp. You say you want clarity, but what you're actually doing is auditioning for a different ending. Let me slow that down. You want the truth to change, not to appear. That is not spiritual seeking. That is emotional negotiation. God isn't in the negotiation business. He's in the consequences business. Now let's talk about the second illusion. You think the heart and mind are debating. No, they're not debating. They're competing for dominance. Your mind is not smart. It's defensive. It invents escape routes because it doesn't want accountability for choices. Your heart is not emotional. It's precise. It recognizes patterns, humans, connections, the weight of someone's absence, the tone of someone's silence faster than your intellect ever will. And when the heart recognizes someone, it doesn't ask for arguments. It doesn't request evidence. It doesn't run calculations. It just says silently, "This fits the internal shape I was built to notice." But fitting doesn't always mean forever. Fitting sometimes means less and deliverer. Let me pronounce this slowly for voice-over impact. A person can fit and still not stay. A decision can be right and still be temporary. A sign can be divine and still be directional, not relational. You're romanticizing recognition, while God is giving you direction. Direction is responsibility. Recognition is emotional privilege. You want privilege. He wants responsibility. Now listen closely to the most uncomfortable truth you'll grow from. Your heart knows the direction, but your ego wants the destination to be softer, easier, or less demanding. That's the real battle. Not heart versus mind, but heart versus ego protective fantasy. People don't get stuck in thought cycles for soulmates. They get stuck in cycles for ghosts their brain didn't get to bury properly. And you keep thinking the cycle means something. It does mean something. But not what you want it to mean. It means your system is asking, are you ready to stop starring in your own illusion now? Not, are you ready to be loved now? Let's move to the third assumption you need demolished. You interpret inner knowing as emotional softness. No. Inner knowing is emotional responsibility without theatrics. God shows truth for action, not emotion. He highlights people in your mind to force evolution out of you, not affection out of them. Let me slow this sentence down with proper pauses. Some connections enter your life to be carried. Some enter your life to carry you into change. You keep confusing the carrier with the carried. Now let's talk about signs. Yes, God shows signs. But signs are not emotional trailers for a divine romance movie. They are intelligence checkpoints you keep failing by asking. Is this from God? Instead of asking, what is God asking me to do because of this? Because if you were paying attention, not daydreaming, you'd already know the answer. Let me say it slowly, emotionally but without bullshit. God isn't pointing you toward a person. He's pointing you toward the version of yourself you must evolve into because of that person. That's it. That is the assignment. Not the affection. Not reunion poetry. Not emotional vindication. But internal evolution. Now you want a voice-over script preaching trust. I won't feed you that spiritual bullshit either. Trusting signs is not spiritual surrender. Trusting signs is emotional accountability with discipline. Do you know what real trust looks like? It looks like this. You don't chase answers that are already imprinted. You don't hunt for signs you've already identified. You don't beg for closure from someone who delivered change. And you don't confuse emotional repetition with destiny. Trust is not waiting for the moment. Trust is acting as if the moment already assigned you a role. Not soft role. Growth role. Evolution role. Discipline role. Action role. Not the romance movie you keep auditioning for. Now let's get to the final layer. You want to know if the thoughts are divine direction. Fine. Let me tell you how to check for real. Ask yourself slowly, honestly, logically. Does the thought make me soften into waiting? Or does it sharpen me into discipline? If it makes you soften into waiting, that's not God. That's emotional seduction. If it sharpens you into discipline, if it makes you soften into waiting, that's not God. That's emotional seduction. If it sharpens you into discipline, that's God. Because God never makes you smaller. He never makes you needy. He never makes you passive. He never makes you beg. He shows signs that force you into the ring of responsibility. Not the couch of delusion. So when someone keeps coming into your mind, your job is not devotion. Your job is interpretation. Interpretation forces action. Action forces evolution. Evolution forces clarity. Clarity silences haunting. And haunting is what brought you here today. To watch your own mind trying to escape the truth your body already encoded. So what should your breakthrough be tomorrow? It should be this, pronounced slowly. I don't trust signs to feel better. I trust signs to be better. That should be the calibration of your channel voice, your logo vibe, your scripts, your life decisions, your emotional patience, everything. Because here at Mindset Apex, we don't worship emotion. We weaponize awareness. Turn your signs into assignments. And your assignments into future proof. That is all.